going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
Fly-Bray, touchdown! Oregon off a dribble, launches, and hits the three! Oregon leads!
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row!
Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
It's game day across a ton of Oregon athletic sports today. We'll talk about all of them. Senior day for beach volleyball. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, they will be starting the Senior Day ceremony at 1:30 at those Grace Community Fellowship courts here in Eugene, playing Bushnell, the crosstown rivalry for Oregon beach volleyball. It is Senior Day for beach volleyball. Men's tennis hosting Wisconsin, 3 o'clock at the Student Tennis Center today. Might be on those outdoor courts. It's a nice day in the Eugene-Springfield area. Oregon baseball will throw the first pitch against Michigan at 5 o'clock, and Oregon softball in its annual pink game to stomp out cancer. Oregon softball will meet Michigan as well at 6 o'clock at Jane Sanders Stadium. Oregon track and field is spread out between Long Beach, California and Stanford, California for a couple different events over the next 2 days. We'll tell you about that as the weekend continues with Oregon track and field in action. Also, this is so cool. Kiara Romero, Oregon women's golf sophomore, tied for the lead at the 2025 Augusta National Women's Amateur after shooting 67 and 68 in the first 2 rounds on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, yesterday I misspoke. Today is a practice round for that event before Kiara Romero and the rest of the field continue on Saturday. She's the number 5 ranked amateur in the world, playing at the famous Augusta National Golf Club. She's entering the final round at 9 under par, tied with the top ranked amateur and defending Augusta National Women's Amateur champion, Lottie Woad of Florida State. That pair will tee off at 7:20 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow on Saturday. Live coverage on NBC starts at 10:30 a.m. That's cool. Chance for everyone, all of us, to see a Duck competing atop the leaderboard in the most prestigious women's amateur tournament of the year. Such an awesome opportunity. 3 players are tied for 3rd place at 8 under, 1 stroke behind the leaders, including Romero. She fired a 5 under 67 in Wednesday's opening round and then a 4 under 32 on the front 9. She was really good early. Made 7 total birdies against just 2 bogeys, was tied for 3rd following the opening 18 holes, and then was in the early round on Thursday, was dominant, and really went on a tear after number 10. She got to 4 under with a birdie and continued to be at the top of the leaderboard. Romero competing at the Augusta National Women's Amateur for the 2nd year in a row. She didn't make the cut last year, but now is looking like one of the best in the field. All of the participants, including Oregon freshman Suvachai Vinachatham, who missed the cut at 8 over, will get a chance to play a practice round today, and then the top 32 compete in the final round on Saturday. Again, she'll tee off just after 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, 7:20 a.m. Pacific time. Live coverage begins on NBC at 10:30. A chance to follow and hopefully see Kiara Romero win this prestigious amateur tournament. So cool to be playing at Augusta. It's one of the big events that leads up to the Masters at Augusta. So cool. She's joined also by her sister, currently a graduate assistant for the Ducks. How about this? You get both Romeros on the course at the same time because her sister is caddying for her. Such a cool moment for the Romero family, and it would be awesome to see Kiara win it. Again, the number 5 ranked amateur in the world might be the number 1 ranked amateur if things go according to plan. So tomorrow, stay tuned for that. Oregon women's golf. This is a really cool moment. Just even playing in the thing is a ridiculous honor and quite an accomplishment. Now a chance to win it. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, back in Eugene, Western night tomorrow for Oregon baseball. Pro Bull riding. PBR is in town at Matthew Knight Arena. You see the connection. You have a chance to win some custom Oregon cowboy boots if you come to PK Park in your best Western attire tomorrow. And then Bark in the Park also is slated for Sunday. Tickets still available. The Bark in the Park package. It's all available online at GoDucks.com. Oregon baseball hosting a couple fun events this weekend following the first pitch here tonight. And good news for Oregon baseball, Maddox Maloney has been named a perfect game midseason third-team All-American. Put together a truly ridiculous weekend against Ohio State. Now he and the rest of the Ducks looking for a bounce back as well after dropping that game to Portland on Wednesday, where Maddox, would tell you, didn't have his best day. Struck out a few times, hit into a fielder's choice. That was his entire day. So he and the Ducks hoping to bounce back against Michigan tonight. A Michigan team that is coached by a familiar face from Pac-12 country. The former Arizona State head coach, Tracy Smith, is the head coach of the Wolverines. We also get what I'm going to call the Mullins Bowl because Cooper Mullins, our athletic director's older son, plays for Michigan. You get the Mullins. I'm going to come up. Ryan's in the studio. We'll come up with a better word for it tonight. Mullins Bowl is fine. We can do better than that. But truly, all kidding aside, what a special thing for Rob Mullins, someone who's built this place and, just son grows up around athletics, now gets a chance to play collegiately at the University of Michigan playing baseball. Really cool. I was talking to Rob about it on Tuesday when he was here in the studio for his about monthly appearance on Duck Insider for Athletic Director Tuesday, and I could tell it's a cool thing for his family getting to see his son, even though it's in the opposite dugout, getting to see his son at PK Park competing is something pretty special. Oregon softball could potentially be in first place in the Big Ten after this weekend. They would need a little help. Northwestern, UCLA are above them, but Michigan, a good team, competing atop those Big Ten standings. 6 o'clock tonight at the Jane, Oregon against Michigan. It is the annual pink game. The pink uniforms will be on display at Jane Sanders Stadium. Oregon softball taking on Michigan. This is a big weekend with both of those Michigan Diamond programs in town. It's on Big Ten Network for Oregon softball tonight. And, of course, Saul Galvan will have the call on KWVA, the hometown call tonight. Saul's actually here in the studio. We got the full briefing ahead of time on Michigan and what to look for, and we'll break all that down coming up. And in someone who knows an awful lot about what the Ducks need to do to succeed, Melissa Lombardi, Duck softball head coach. She met with the media yesterday, actually, talking about all things Oregon softball, getting ready for Michigan, the Wolverines, tonight at 6 o'clock at the Jane. Here's Coach Lombardi.
To be able to get that one back against Oregon State, a team that kind of stole one from you in what had otherwise been a really exciting weekend at the Jane Sanders Classic that had the wins over Florida State. How did that feel last night to be able to get that one back on them?
Good. We've been waiting for that game. We did not like how we played and just the outcome when we were here at our stadium for Game 1, so to have the opportunity to go and tie the series with Game 2 and to do it there was big.
You guys faced the same pitcher last time in Hulan, and she tossed a complete game. This time you get Sokolsky, who gives you guys a complete game. How did you feel like you made adjustments to her pitching and just being able to see her again for another full game?
I think obviously to have the opportunity to see her again, but I just think the game plan that they had against her, we tweaked a couple things, and I thought it made a big difference.
Coach, you've been doing this for a while. Obviously, you've seen lots of different teams. Every year you kind of have expectations, and hopes and aspirations. When did you really know that this team had coalesced and was as special as it's become?
We've been saying it since day one, since the first day they all came on campus. You could just feel this group different. Just every year your groups are going to be different than the groups in the past. That's just normal. But I don't know, there's just something with this group and that the way they went about things, and they're just different, special. The energy was just ridiculous. And then from there, seeing them put the work in the weight room, put the work in on the field, put their work in our leadership meetings, you could just really start to see things come together with them.
freshmen, you get to really chance to see them to grow and develop for the first time over the course of the season. When you have players like Steph, when you have players like Kaylin, who some of them had some really hot starts to the season, then cooled down. Watched them kind of have to readjust back to these pitchers, these college pitchers, the kind of the toughest they've ever seen, and have really successful. Obviously, Steph 2 homers. Kaylin was really great at the Rutgers series. How have you just seen them grow and kind of on the field, off the field, and be able to make those adjustments back to experiencing what it is like to be college softball players?
I think just for the most part, just the maturity. I don't look at our freshmen as freshmen anymore. They haven't been freshmen for a while. So to see them have success and then to see things maybe have some bumps and how they handle that in a mature way, and just understanding, anytime we have bumps, it's good. It means we're growing. Anytime we're uncomfortable, it's good. It means we're growing. And so the growth that they've had as freshmen, imagine this freshman group when they're seniors, just with what they've been doing in their first year. So you're going to have growth. And if you are comfortable being uncomfortable, that's when you're going to grow faster and understand how to make some adjustments quicker. And I think that's what you can see with all of them.
The group this year has been great in so many different facets. A question, where do you still see the biggest opportunity? They've been great on the bases, hitting, defense, pitching. They're across the board. They've had market improvements. But where do you still see that biggest opportunity to advance?
I think in all areas. I don't think we can ever, be. I think when you have success, lots of times when you have success, complacency comes with it. And to understand how to have the success, but to continue to grow and not get complacent in what you're doing.
How big has Bracy been for this team? She takes one off the leg last night. She leads the team in hit by pitches. Just to have her stepping up in that toughness that she's had since Emma went down, it's just kind of what happens with catchers. They got to be able to do that, and to see what she's meant to this team, and then be able to also give what she's done on offense. What have you seen from her?
Just that mental, physical toughness. I don't know how many times she got hit on the road. It seems like a lot more probably than what it was, but just how she's handled it. It just shows she's one of our strongest athletes on our team. She's just got some physical strength and is getting beat up a little bit as a catcher. That kind of goes along with the territory, and I think she's handled it very well.
One thing that Bracy was mentioning, though, is the difference between being hurt and being injured. Being hurt, you have to overcome. Being injured, and it made me think, could you just speak to the importance of the totality of the staff? Kate in particular, being the trainer, getting people to identify the differences between those, so they're not trying to push through an injury per se, that they actually know to stop it. Just the treatment, and how she's helping these players recover, because like you said, Breezy or Steph or anyone else, overcome and persevere throughout the season.
I think one thing, just in all areas, if we have really good communication. I think Kate is excellent. She's one of the best in the country. She wants to do a lot of prevention type work with them, recovery type work, so we can keep them from being injured. When they are injured, I think she does a great job of understanding the timeline and how quickly she can get them back. So I think just the communication is really big, and it goes a long way to understand the difference of the injury versus being hurt. So.
How big do you think that is in terms of getting people to Oregon and just the staff and everything that you have here and have built up over the last couple of years?
I think it's big. I think we are a Division I college softball program, but I look at how Oregon just handles everything, and everything we do, you'd feel like this is a professional team. We have a professional trainer. We play at a professional stadium. We have professional coaches. Our athletes are treated like professionals with all the resources that are provided. So to come here, you have opportunity to do great things.
A question, just because you guys are stealing so many bases. So the attempts are kind of going up. Have you ever seen in the past a team that's been hit so many times with being called leaving early? It just, by virtue of more stolen bases, there's going to be more attempts, which is going to increase that potential. But it just seems like your team has been, is it because you're so fast, other coaches are identifying it and kind of pushing the umps, do you think? Or is it just, it is what it is. I'm not questioning the calls, but it just seems like that's something I see a lot more in Oregon games than I do in any other games I watch.
Yeah, I don't really know the answer. I just think that we've got incredible speed, so just to be on time. So if a video replay, we're safe. like make people throw us out physically and not through the video.
Coach, last question. You've got Michigan coming to Eugene for the first time, and exciting to welcome a new team to Eugene, and also talk a little about the crowd, the atmosphere that has been building here, and how important that is for the team.
I think it's huge. When I think of Michigan, I think of Big Ten championships. I think of a national championship. They always have great pitching, great hitters. They play the right way. They've got excellent coaching. And so we've got to be at our very best for this team that's coming in to play us. So to have our fans and our support here, we talk about this Lion's Den, and for it to be rocking is really, really important because we need it for this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend. So I appreciate our fans. I appreciate their support. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, and it's about absolutely packing the Jane and continuing on with that Lion's Den that we love.
Back to Jane, going to be fun. Pink game tonight. Oregon softball taking on Michigan at Jane Sanders Stadium. Ducks are a top 5 team. And it's going to be beautiful tonight in Eugene. You got a pair of Diamond Sports to choose from. Outstanding what Oregon softball is doing right now. And doing it with a lot of young energy. A lot of freshmen that have been instrumental throughout that batting order. And just keep in mind, it is very possible that the single-season record for steals might be broken this weekend. By the way, there's still like 7 weeks left in the regular season. And the Ducks are likely going to break the stolen base record, both as a team and an individual, this weekend. Pretty cool. When we come back, we're going to talk with Stephanie Maake, one of those young stars for Oregon softball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been.
It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. We've got a lot going on around Oregon athletics today. Senior day for beach volleyball getting rolling here this afternoon against Bushnell. And Oregon softball tonight. I mentioned those freshman stars. Let's hear from one of them in Stephanie Maake. Coming off a 2-home-run performance against Oregon State. Love that. Also, if you ever just want to put a smile on your face, watch Stephanie Maake celebrate like a double. I mean, it's great. This is the energy that this Oregon softball team has right now. She talked with the media yesterday.
What kind of expectations do you have for yourself for the season overall, and where do you think you are in that punch list?
I think for me, it's just to hit the ball hard through the defense, be a good team leader as a freshman, and then just continuing to up the standard for myself and for the rest of the team. And then I think I sort of met that expectation towards the end of Washington series, and I think it's gone a long way these past few games.
How has it felt to just feel that the rewards of that hard work that you've done, and you've kind of kept with the process the whole time, and to feel that kind of paying off again as you have nights like last night?
Yeah, it just really shows that the work that I do on the off day is really helping, and like continue to talk to Coach Rowe about my approach at the plate, and then continue to talk to Coach Martyr when I'm in the on deck circle, and just communication back and forth throughout me and the coaches.
Where do you feel like your biggest opportunities, like, because this stage of the season, there's tape out there on you, so they're making adjustments, you're making counter adjustments, but where do you see your biggest opportunities for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it's just continuing to work on my weaknesses, which is outside. But I think it's just not knowing now that they're not going to pitch me inside, just because those are the ones I hit bombs off of. And so just working on the off days or in the cages with the coaches on what are they going to pitch to me and not what are they going to pitch to the team. They're going to pitch to the team way different than they're going to pitch to me, just because of the type of hitter I am. And I think it's just trusting in our process and in my process.
Since that hit at Washington, that kind of broke that skid you had fell into a little bit. Now you're 12 for 20 since then. 4 homers, have been really productive in the lineup. What has been the adjustment? Has it been like a mental thing for you in terms of just getting back into a better mindset at the plate, or has there been any adjustment in the approach to seeing the pitches or in the swing at all?
Yeah, I think it's just swing decision and just taking pitches and making the pitcher pitch to me instead of getting myself out. And then just allowing myself to hit good pitching. I think I kind of did better going off of that weekend, just hitting hard line drives through the defense. And I think I had 2 hard line drives that cleared the bases.
Well, you had the one that got stolen at Seattle U.
Yeah. I remember that. And I think it's just continuing to hit the hard ground balls up the middle, score some runs, and be an RBI producer.
When did you, as a freshman, because your group of freshmen is kind of unique. I mean, you guys are freshmen, but don't really act like freshmen. Notice that. But when did you collectively kind of realize like what this team could be? I mean, everyone kind of has expectations, what they want to do. But when did you actually like realize like this team is pretty special?
I think it was the couple of the first weeks when we were in UNLV and then Arizona. I think it was that week that we all clicked. But I also think we clicked on the retreat that we had in the beginning of the year, where we all just kind of had that bond and just kind of building onto the culture that we have created from version 7. And for the freshman group, I think we're just a little special group we got going on over there. Got something cooking. But I think it's just continuing to believe in ourselves, and no matter what grade you're in or who we're facing, like, we're just going to be the best team.
Now that you guys have kind of gotten a little bit more, it feels like national attention on you. You're up to a top 5 team in the country, a highest ranked team in the Big Ten. How do you, as freshmen, kind of try to manage those expectations when you kind of really haven't been on this type of stage before?
Yeah, I think it's just continue to stay neutral and have a neutral mindset, kind of not worrying about where we're ranked or when we're on the field. It's just we're going to play us against us or us against the opponent across from us. But if we're going to be top 5, we got to act like it in practice. And so I think that's just what we have to continue to do.
What has been the biggest surprise as your season is progressing, but as a freshman, kind of on the national stage, like he was just saying, you guys are a top 5 team. Are there any surprises or things that you didn't really expect to see that you're seeing now, just overall?
I didn't really expect the freshman class to come out like that with like a bang. I think it's just us continuing to do what we do, and then our pitching staff is unbelievable. And so Lindsey Grind on the mound with Elise Sokolsky, it's just kind of a dual matchup right there. And I think we just got to continue to do what we do.
Okay, so a couple things. One, Stephanie Make is just very well-spoken for a freshman, has great energy, we know that. But even just the fun of, like, they know that this freshman group is special. She talks about it, right? Like, we got something cooking with these freshmen. And that, I want to compliment something. So this is the 7th year under Coach Lombardi, right? A transitional period the first couple years. This is one of the first classes where it's been Coach Lombardi and her staff have really known these student athletes for almost, for their whole tenure that they've been here at Oregon. I think that stuff matters, right? This freshman group has known each other. They've known the coaches for a lot longer than even the recruiting classes of a couple years ago, because Coach Lombardi hadn't been recruiting them as the Oregon head coach until 7 years ago. I think you're really starting to see that pay off now at this point in Coach Lombardi's tenure at Oregon. And it happens, right? Like, I think about somebody like Jess Drummond for Oregon lacrosse, who also plays Michigan on senior day at noon on Sunday. Well, Jess Drummond still has a lot of players on the roster that she and her staff didn't recruit. And that's part of college athletics. It's part of the turnover and everything. But I think that stuff matters. There's just more relationship built up between the coaches and the student athletes. And that's why you see these programs that have long tenured coaches. It's part of why they succeed, part of why they continue to succeed. I think we're seeing that with Oregon softball right now. Another outstanding individual who, truthfully, started out a little bumpy and has only gotten better as the season's gone on in Brazy Rosa. We're going to talk with her coming up. Stick with us. Stuck Insider, getting ready for a busy weekend of Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle.
Or forget extra diapers.
You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Busy weekend around Oregon athletics, all kinds of sports in town. Both Diamond teams playing Michigan. Baseball 5 o'clock tonight. Oregon softball 6 o'clock tonight at the Jane. Continuing to focus in on some of these newer faces this year that are now already becoming household names for Oregon softball. Brazy Rosa wasn't initially going to be the starter for Oregon. Injuries occur. Next thing you know, she's thrust into the lineup, and since that has occurred, Saul Galvan was just telling me, and he'll talk about this more on the hometown call tonight, I'm sure. KWVA's got the radio hometown call tonight for Oregon softball. 5:40 pregame on KWVA, the student radio station here in Eugene. She's got hits in all but 3 games since taking over as the starter. She's hitting over 300 now. Has really settled into a nice groove. Brazy Rosa talking with the media, getting ready for Oregon against Michigan this weekend.
As a catcher, it's always something that you guys deal with. You guys are beat up, but honestly, have you ever experienced anything like this? I mean, the last 2 weeks, you've got to be more black and blue than I think any player's ever been.
Honestly, like growing up playing travel ball, I feel like I have
been through those stages where I've gotten hit a lot during like multiple games. But I think this has been a lot, kind of back to back. And I think for me, just being able to take the time that I need like after and kind of just pushing through the pain, like even if I'm hurting, I feel like my dad always used to say that hurt and injured is two different things. Hurt is like you can push through it. Injured is when I would possibly be taken out. But I would just say it's more as hurt than it is injury.
Yeah, not only are you taking the damage behind the plate, you lead the team in hit by pitches this year with 7. It's kind of been a little bit of a tool to help get you on base. But when you see your teammate like Emma go down with that injury, it's what happens when you play catcher. That's going to happen every once in a while. Does that kind of make you want to step up even more so and be like, I really got to be there for my team and tough these out?
Yeah, 100%. Like, Emma's a great catcher. We both are. So seeing her get hurt was probably, like, it hurt me genuinely. So knowing that I was the backup and that I came in to be her, like, to pick her up was probably the best feeling. And knowing that I did my job in that piece kind of makes me feel better as a teammate. And also knowing that if it was vice versa, that she would have my back. So either way, like, I feel like that bond that we have kind of creates such a push for us to do better instead of it being like negative or anything like that.
Whether it's something that you were conscious of or not, I'm sure in the back of your mind when you're coming in sporadically, playing sporadically versus being consistent, how much do you think that consistency has helped you excel at the plate?
It definitely helped me with, like, confidence-wise. I think just seeing my teammates especially be consistent themselves. So just being able to, use that momentum to kind of help myself be consistent, and also just talking to them when I need help and talking to the coaches and making sure that I'm communicating on like what my adjustments could be or what is like the possible change for my next at bat. So just being able, in order for me to be consistent and do good in the game, like I need to keep finding ways to adjust or build a different perspective on like up to bat and even on defense too.
The pitching staff has been able to maintain such an elite level of consistency so far this season, even when changing catchers and kind of working with different groups. How is that a testament to just the work that you guys kind of put in, everybody in the off season, to be able to kind of get synced up like that for the season?
Yeah, off season, we've gotten a lot of reps with the pitchers. We kind of alternate between each other to make sure that we know like each pitcher individually. And I think catching wise, like that's kind of our job, to be able to adjust to each pitcher, because knowing that one may come out half the game, and just being able to adjust or like to change however they may pitch. And it's kind of like a catcher instinct, I feel. Like it's not really hard for catchers to be able to adjust to each pitcher. I think that we all kind of have a mind to where like we know each pitcher individually. And I think that's just like one of the cool things to see like at practice is like no matter who's going in, like we can dominate any team, and I don't think it would be a problem for any catcher on this team.
Is there anything you feel like you've learned about the pitcher since you've been handling them on a more regular basis in like game situations?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them, they both, like all 5 of them have different mindsets and what they feel like is good for them. And so just being able to talk to them one-on-one outside of softball kind of helps a lot too, because then it builds a bigger trust and connection on the field. So like for example, like Lindsay, she's more of a kind of like she can take anything straightforward type of pitcher. And I feel like all of them can, but some are just to where like they just have different perspectives on how they want to be confronted. So I think just for us catchers, like that's the most important thing to us, is kind of just finding the neutral like mindset or in between to be able to talk to them. Like I would say more straightforward things to Lindsay, because I know she can take it because that's how she grown up. And then like for Elise, I feel like me and her, we have more of a funny bond that we kind of just make jokes to where it calms her down and it also calms me down as a catcher. So I think just like that, like finding whatever helps the both of us so that we can get through the inning, just like how we did this yesterday.
One of the primary jobs of the catcher is to be a backstop, but that secondary job is to throw out runners. What's it like in practice? Because this team is, so fast. You get the opportunity to see them. What other teams are kind of surprised by, but you get to see it on a daily basis. Just from the catching perspective, what's it like to see the team speed in practice?
Yeah, our team, like, base running is great. We already got more than 100 bases stolen, and I think that our runners like put in a lot of work on the field, and at practice it shows, and it definitely shows up in the game. So I think just seeing them, like, and also knowing that they can help me on the catcher side to help me be able to throw out runners. So I think they really take their job seriously, and they don't play around when it comes to like that. And like we kind of have a competition like how we did today on like who can get safe or who can get thrown out. So I think just having that like as a team makes it way more fun during the game, because we know that our girls will 90% of the time be safe. And I think that's just the best part about having a fast team, because you'll never know when it's coming. And also we catch a lot of people off guard when we're playing different teams. So it's just fun to see. And just like how we have our signs 10s up, like we made those for a reason, because we know for a fact that we're going to have a lot of stolen bases this year.
Where did that pitch get you last night that really hurt? And was the cold, did that add to that? Because I know when you get a ding in the cold, it can really make it intense.
Yeah, I think me personally, I was warm, so I don't think the pain was mainly from the cold. I think it was just, it hit like a very soft spot on my knee, because I've already, like, catcher's knees are just always not the best. So just getting that, I think it kind of like shocked me a little. So I think that's where like the adrenaline was coming from. But after like it kicked in, I kind of, was like, okay, I'm not injured. I can like still go through. I just needed a minute. So those are like probably the worst places to get hit. And I'm glad that we have shin guards, because if it got hit in my shin, it would probably be 10 times worse. But I think being able to just, give myself time to regroup and then just go back in the game.
Catchers are tough. They just are. I like, though, that honesty from Bracy Rosa. Getting ready for Oregon softball in action tonight, 6 o'clock, the start at Jane Sanders Stadium. Limited tickets available for the Pink game tonight, and then throughout the weekend, Oregon softball against Michigan. All the details, goducks.com. When we return, shifting gears to Oregon football. Tatum Tuioti, one of the vets now defensively for the Ducks, as spring practice continues tomorrow for Dan Lanning's squad. We'll hear from Tatum Tuioti after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I look through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Spring practice continues. Spring practicing. Yeah. You know, I'm thinking about how Chris Hampton said yesterday, Duck co-defensive coordinator, defensive backs coach, that this is his favorite time of year. Development, you know, it's a little more individual, and it's all about that growth as a player. Well, Tatum Tuioti talked a bit about that. As welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Spring practice continues for Oregon football. Tatum Tuioti, now one of the veterans on this team. There's a lot of talent, experience, but not experience at Oregon, right? Transfer portal, whatever. Tatum Tuioti, though, a guy who has now been around this coaching staff, been around this facility. He really is a veteran, and he talked with the media this week.
Tatum, how does it feel to be one of the old heads on this defense now? I mean, there's not many, more experienced than you guys. What does that mean to you as far as the leadership role goes on this defense?
Yeah, I think it feels like it's cool. I think it comes with a lot of not necessarily pressure, but a lot of people looking up to me and others as well. But I think it just comes with just holding the standard. I think that's something that being a leader has to do. We got to hold the standard. Me, Mateo, and Bryce are going to continue to, throughout the spring, just continue to make sure that these young guys and these guys that don't have much playing experience, they know how it is to be on the field and how it is going to be on the game day.
Back middle, Brett.
Tatum, over the last couple of days, several coaches talked about kind of how talented this group is, especially some of the younger guys and the hunger that they have. Do you feel like just over the last several seasons that you've been a part of the program, just have you seen that as well, just the talent, and how has maybe some of the hunger from some of these younger players maybe help push you to try and get, even better than what you have tried to do in previous years potentially?
Yeah, these guys, especially in the back end for us, secondary, a lot of them are new, but they are talented. A lot of them come from, great high schools. A lot of them are highly recruited. And we can see it on the field. And throughout the winter, we can see it. So, I'm not too worried about, I know a lot of people think that there's, or a lot of people left our defense. But I'm not too worried about it because we got a lot of talent here and a lot of people that are hungry to just compete.
Right here, second row on the left. Eric.
Kind of sticking with what you're talking about there, young players that maybe were highly regarded. What can you say about maybe the players in your room, your group, but whether it's an Elijah or somebody else that has maybe taken a stride that you think can really help this year?
Oh, yeah. I think our room, me, Mateo, Elijah, Blake, I think all of us ready. Obviously, you guys haven't seen too much of the other guys, but they're definitely ready. They're hungry, and you guys are going to see them this year. They're ready to compete, and they're going to make plays for us.
Back right, Joey.
Tatum, how do you describe the standard? How do you describe it to fans?
Our defense, like Coach Lepoy say, starts off with relentless effort, 6A to B +2. Just flying to the ball. That's literally what our whole defense is built on. After that is ball excellence. We always punching at the ball, trying to get it. Because at the end of the day, we get the ball, we going to win. And last thing is power of unit. We just playing for each other. The brotherhood in there is different. Like, we're going to continue to play for each other when things get hard. No matter what, we just going to look to the left, look to the right, and just play for our brothers, our bias.
Right here on the front right, Zach.
We're asking everyone this, but the word about Dylan Thieneman so far has been pretty incredible. Bryce told us earlier this week that he's one of a kind for his work ethic and his love for the game. Have you kind of seen that so far this spring, this winter?
Yes, I think his preparation, just every day coming in here, continuing to just go through his routine. That's something that I see every day in the morning. I see him does the same thing every day. Stretch, he's in the hot tub. His walk-through mechanics elite, communicates. You don't see him do too much things wrong. like he's always here, always meeting, and I'm excited for what he's gonna do this year.
Right here on the right middle, Chris.
The way the season ended for you guys last year, how much has that stuck with you these last couple months, and how much do you use that as kind of a motivator going into the spring practices?
Yeah, it was a tough game last year, and we're gonna learn from it. We continue to just learn from our mistakes, and we're just gonna continue to try to be better this year. Find our weaknesses and try to make them our strengths.
Front left, James.
What are a couple of things that you're really focusing on throughout spring personally, and what will 4 weeks from now you'll feel like spring was a success for you after 15 practices if you accomplish what exactly?
For me, I think if I can help these other guys just feel comfortable in defense, continue to help them just get set, get aligned, communicate. I think that's something that I want to continue to work on. I know that was something last year I wanted to work on, especially this year. It's going to be a big year, especially with a lot of new players. I want to just help out as much as I can with everyone, And other than that, I just want to continue working my craft, run game. I want to get to the quarterback more. That will just come through practice.
Back left, Matt.
Chris Hampton shared with us, when he got here, he was taken back at how well this program takes notes, how well the players themselves are prepared, in meetings and before meetings. Someone who's been here for a couple of years now, how does that help you? Where did that skill set learn, for you? Where did you learn that? How does that help the program?
Yeah, shoot. Ever since I've been here, man, our defense is complicated. You got to take notes. There's so many adjustments. Many of us got a couple notebooks, 3, 4. So yeah, we just, as much as you can, there ain't, you can write down everything. There's not something you can't learn. And as we continue to just go throughout the spring, man, we're gonna continue to take notes, new plays. We're gonna know everything, the ins and outs, so that there ain't no mistakes.
Back row left, Eric.
Guys oftentimes have goals maybe for transforming their bodies. Was there something that you were focused on this offseason as you gain weight? Were you cutting? Were you trying to, and maybe what the reason was behind any changes if you did make some?
Yeah, I put on some weight, put on 10 more pounds, around 265, 270. Got more stronger, something that I've been just continue to work on. I think everyone just continue to try to get stronger, but that's my game plan. Obviously, I know I got to keep in shape, something I'm going to continue to work on too. But yeah.
Last question, back right, Aaron.
As someone who came in the spring after graduating high school, a lot like a lot of the young players that we've already talked about, as someone who has found an opportunity and got a lot of opportunities your first season, if you could go back and give yourself any advice during that time, what advice would you give yourself?
Shoot, I'll say just play your ball, play the the game. I think a lot of people come into college and they tense up. They don't want to do no wrong. But I think you just got to go out there and play ball. All of us know, this is a game of football, man. Go make a play. Go do what you do. So that's what I'll say.
Tatum Tuioti, one of the vets now, meeting with the media. And when we return, another veteran on the offensive side. We'll hear from Noah Whittington, getting ready for spring practice again tomorrow on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Final segment of Duck Insider on a Friday, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Spring practice continues for Oregon football. The Ducks will be back in Autzen Stadium tomorrow. We'll have a lot more for you on the Go Ducks YouTube and on Monday's show here. But Noah Whittington is a true veteran in every sense of the word. 6th year now. And Noah Whittington talked with the media about the running back room, why he decided to come back. A whole lot more with Noah Whittington this week.
Noah, take us into the decision ultimately to return rather than stick in the NFL draft, and what all went into that.
I just felt like this was the best decision for me to be guaranteed to keep playing the sport that I love. I feel like Oregon is home, so like it's a great place to play. You know, I love playing for Coach Lanny, so yeah.
Eric on the left.
Weird kind of being on this roster where you are really one of the veterans who's been here from the start with Dan, and kind of what kind of a role does that offer you in terms of just being one of those guys?
I feel like my time here, like I haven't been like much of a vocal leader, so I feel like with everybody being so young, I try to like enforce the standard of like Coach Lane has set here with all the great players that have came, so it's not like a fall off, you know.
James.
Do you look at guys running back wise who are either at the combine this year or former guys, like I know Locke and Sampa both put you guys in touch with some of their former guys in terms of guys maybe similar build to you in particular, in terms of for comps and for things that you could work on over this last year, knowing it's your last year?
Yeah, I do. I definitely want to, get bigger. That's always one of the things. Play with more violence, I guess. And just attack my last year because that's what it is,
Chris on the right.
Noah, what can you tell us about Hughes and how he's looked these last couple weeks, and what do you think he'll bring to the running back room?
I think he brings a sense of violence, like especially him in Memphis drill, like him pass protecting. He doesn't take contact, he enforces it. And the same thing like within his running style. Like he a big body, he's fast, and it's just I don't think anybody's really gonna want to tackle him, Same, it's a lot of people in our room, same thing, Yeah.
Eric on the left.
Wondering what the last year's been like for you physically. Obviously, having the knee surgery a year ago, you were rehabbing it. Now you feel like you're 100%. Like, what was the year like in terms of getting back to that point, and just kind of speak to the knee and where you're at with it?
I feel like I'm the most confident I've ever been in it now, because it was a pretty big injury. Now I feel 100% healthy, not more so physically, because I always feel like I've been there physically, but like mentally, being able to just have fun and play and not really think about it.
Going back to what I was just asking about, was Darrell Henderson a guy, just because I know he was a lock guy from Memphis, but Rashad also coached him at the Rams for that year. So I just didn't know if that was a guy who you either was in touch with or looked at his game, because, again, similar build. I think he's also about 5'8", 200. Is that a guy in particular who you may model your game after, look in terms of how he made it to the league?
It's crazy you say that because I used to like watch his highlights all the time. Like after I met Coach Locke used to like always tell me about him, and then it got to a point where I feel like my game started to change the more I watched his film. So yes, yeah.
How so?
Really just the way he like exploded through the hole. You know, I feel like before I got hurt, that was something I was a little timid. Like I felt like I wasn't hitting the hole as hard as I could. And I feel like that year Darrell, when he went like 10 yards per carry, he had a crazy year like that. He was just hitting the hole as hard as he could. So yeah.
Back right, Aaron.
A big difference between this spring and previous springs here is this spring you're a dad. What is being a dad kind of? Are there any life lessons that you've kind of realized since becoming a dad?
Funny thing, yeah, I've learned a lot of life lessons. It's fun, you know. I feel like being a dad and playing football, they don't necessarily go together because of the time, but it's kind of like rewarding to like have a long, hard day of like trying to get better and then going home and playing with your kid. You know, like I feel like that's the thing that really makes my day. It used to just be football, 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 football. Now it's like when I'm here, I am the kid. And then when I go home, I am the adult, you know? So I feel like, yeah, I like it.
It's fun. That's really fun. Noah Whittington talking about becoming a father, and you know he's in the facility. He's the kid. You know, you get to still just play football, have fun, and then you go home and you're the adult. But I hope that Noah also gets some time to be a kid with his kid. You know, that's pretty special. Noah Whittington talking with the media there. Spring practice continues tomorrow for Oregon football, but we've got a lot going on between now and then. Beach volleyball, senior day, going on right now. Men's tennis this afternoon. Both Diamond Sports in Eugene tonight. It's going to be a good week. Weather looks great. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb.